Hello dear friends. Welcome back to the channel. This is not a place for noise, hype, or fast motivation that disappears tomorrow. This is a place where we talk about confidence, communication, and the inner shifts that slowly but permanently change the way you live your life. If you want to speak better English, express yourself without fear, and stop shrinking just to feel accepted, then make sure you subscribe. The ideas shared here are not designed to impress you for a moment. They are designed to stay with you and quietly change the way you see yourself. Now take a breath and listen carefully. What you are about to hear is not a success story in the usual sense. It is not a list of achievements or milestones. It is a story about one decision. A decision so uncomfortable that most people avoid it their entire lives. She broke every rule that success usually demands. She was not loud. She was not charming in a traditional way. She did not try to be impressive. And yet, she won. Today we are talking about one decision made by Billie Eilish that changed everything. But this video is not really about her. It is about why most people are terrified of making the same decision and how that fear keeps them unseen, unheard, and stuck. Do not treat this as a celebrity story. Treat it as a reflection of your own life. Before the world knew her name, before global recognition, before people called her an icon, she did not look like someone destined for success. She recorded music in a bedroom, not in a high-end studio, not surrounded by experts telling her what works. Just a small space, simple tools, and emotions that were not edited to make anyone comfortable. Her voice was quiet, sometimes almost fragile. It did not demand attention. It did not try to dominate the listener. In an industry that celebrates power, confidence, and vocal strength, her voice was considered a problem. People associate loudness with confidence. They associate softness with weakness. And because of that belief, many people never even give quiet voices a chance. Her lyrics made people uneasy. They were honest in a way that did not ask for permission. They spoke about fear, discomfort, darkness, and thoughts people usually hide. There was no attempt to motivate, no attempt to sound positive, only truth. This made her difficult to categorize, and when the world cannot categorize you, it tries to correct you. She was told that she did not fit the image. She was told that she was not pop star material. She was told, directly or indirectly, that success requires adjustment. That moment is familiar to more people than they realize. It is the moment someone tells you that your accent is a problem. The moment someone suggests you should sound more confident. The moment you feel that being yourself is somehow not enough. At that point, most people adapt. They speak less. They copy others. They hide parts of themselves that feel risky. Because fitting in feels safer than standing alone. But she made a different choice. She did not try to become louder. She did not change her voice to sound powerful. She did not polish her personality to be acceptable. She stayed exactly as she was, even though that meant uncertainty. This is the decision that changed everything. She chose discomfort over approval. Approval gives quick comfort. It gives likes, validation, and relief. Discomfort gives nothing immediately. No praise. No reassurance. No clear signal that you are doing the right thing. Only silence. And silence is where most people panic. They assume silence means rejection. They assume rejection means failure. They assume failure means they must change who they are. She did not make that assumption. She understood something most people never realize. Silence is not always rejection. Sometimes it is space being created for something new. By staying quiet in a loud world, she became noticeable. By staying strange in a normal world, she became memorable. By staying honest in a filtered world, she became relatable. While others were trying to enter an existing system, she unknowingly became the reason the system had to expand. This is where her story truly begins. Not with fame, not with recognition, but with the courage to remain herself when it would have been far easier to disappear into what everyone else was already doing. Now here is where this story stops being about music and starts being about psychology. Because what happened next was not luck. It was not timing. It was not magic. It was human behavior doing exactly what it always does, just in a way most people do not understand. Human beings are wired to copy. From childhood, we learn what is safe by watching what is accepted. We notice how people speak, how they behave, how they dress, and which versions of themselves receive approval. Slowly, without realizing it, we begin editing ourselves. This is not weakness. This is survival. When you copy what already works, your brain feels safe. You reduce the risk of rejection. You reduce the chance of embarrassment. You reduce the fear of being judged. That is why most people sound similar when they speak English. That is why most people hide their real opinions. That is why most people soften their personality in public. They are not trying to be fake. They are trying to belong. But here is the problem. When everyone copies the same pattern, the pattern loses power. The internet changed something fundamental. It removed the gatekeepers, but it also removed patience. People now scroll past anything that feels predictable. Perfect faces, perfect voices, perfect scripts. They all blur together. The brain does not stop for perfection. The brain stops for honesty. That is why her quiet voice worked. It felt human. It felt close. It felt like someone speaking from the inside instead of performing on the outside. People did not feel talked to. They felt understood. And this is where most people get confused. They think authenticity means being confident first and then being yourself. But it works the other way around. You become confident because you stop pretending. She did not wait to feel fearless before being honest. She was honest while still being uncomfortable. That is the difference. When you hide your real voice, you send a message to yourself that it is not safe to exist as you are. Over time, that creates anxiety. You overthink every sentence. You rehearse every conversation. You fear judgment even before it happens. But when you allow yourself to be seen as you are, something strange happens. You feel exposed at first. You feel vulnerable. You feel like people might judge you. And some people do. But the people who connect with you connect deeply. That is exactly what happened. Her music did not try to please everyone. It spoke directly to a certain emotional frequency. People who felt strange, quiet, anxious, or different finally felt represented. The audience did not grow because she changed. The audience grew because people saw themselves in her. This is why copying trends slowly kills your confidence. Every time you copy, you delay self-trust. Every time you hide, you teach yourself fear. Every time you adjust your voice to sound acceptable, you move further away from your real strength. The world does not remember the safest version of you. It remembers the truest version of you. And that truth applies far beyond music. It applies to how you speak English. It applies to how you show your personality. It applies to how you walk into a room and decide whether to shrink or exist fully. Now let us bring this home. Because if this story ends only as inspiration, it fails. The real power of this decision is not what it did for her. It is what it reveals about you. Most people believe they are invisible because they are not good enough yet. Not fluent enough. Not confident enough. Not ready enough. So they wait. They wait to speak better English before speaking at all. They wait to feel confident before sharing opinions. They wait to become someone else before allowing themselves to be seen. But that is not why people are invisible. People are invisible because they are hiding. Every time you soften your voice so nobody notices your accent. Every time you stay silent because you might say something wrong. Every time you copy someone else's tone, words, or personality to feel safe. You send a message, not to the world, but to yourself. You tell yourself that who you are is not acceptable yet, and that is exhausting. This is why confidence feels so far away for so many people. They think confidence comes from perfection, but confidence actually comes from alignment, from acting in a way that matches who you really are. When she stayed quiet instead of forcing loudness, she aligned with herself. When she stayed strange instead of becoming normal, she aligned with herself. When she accepted discomfort instead of chasing approval, she aligned with herself. And alignment creates calm. That calm is what people mistake for confidence. Think about your own life for a moment. When you speak English, are you trying to sound impressive, or are you trying to be understood? When you talk to people, are you trying to avoid judgment, or are you trying to connect? When you enter a room, are you shrinking to fit, or allowing yourself to exist fully? Here is the uncomfortable truth. Your fear of being judged is the exact reason you are not being noticed. Not because people dislike you, but because there is nothing real for them to connect with. The moment you allow yourself to speak as you are, not as you think you should, your energy changes. Your voice becomes steadier. Your mind becomes quieter. You stop performing and start communicating. Some people will not like it. That is part of the deal. But the people who do connect will connect deeply. And that is how real influence is built. Quietly, slowly, authentically. She did not win by becoming fearless. She won by moving forward while still afraid. That is the lesson. You do not need to fix yourself first. You do not need permission. You do not need to become louder, smoother, or more impressive. You need to stop hiding. If this story made you think differently about confidence, communication, or the way you show up in the world, then stay with this channel. Do subscribe our channel and like the video. We break confidence down into simple psychological shifts that actually work in real life. Especially when you are learning English, building self-belief, or trying to express your real personality. And before you leave, remember this. Standing out is not about being extreme. It is about being honest when honesty feels uncomfortable. That one decision changed Billie Eilish's life. And it might quietly change yours too. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.